Judge Meredith Hawkins was a name that commanded respect in her small suburban community. At 48 years old, she had built an impeccable reputation as a fair, no-nonsense judge. To the public, she was the embodiment of moral integrity, a woman who had worked tirelessly to climb the judicial ranks and provide a better life for her teenage daughter, Emma. But behind the gavel and beneath the surface of her carefully curated life, Meredith carried a secret so damning it could shatter her career, her family, and everything she had worked for. It began 5 years earlier with the trial of Lucas Kane, a 33-year-old man accused of armed robbery. Lucas had a rough edge, but an undeniable charisma that made him the focal point of the courtroom. Meredith had presided over his case, and while she had sentenced him to 10 years in prison, their brief interactions had left an indelible impression on both of them. Lucas had sent her a letter from prison months after the trial, apologizing for his crimes and thanking her for her fairness. The letter was unexpected but strangely touching. Against her better judgment, Meredith wrote back. What began as a single reply spiraled into a secret correspondence. Letters turned into phone calls, and over time, Meredith found herself drawn to Lucas in ways she couldn't explain. He was intelligent, perceptive, and had a dark wit that both infuriated and fascinated her. Lucas, in turn, was captivated by Meredith's strength and vulnerability. Their connection deepened, and before long, Meredith was visiting him under the guise of volunteer prison work. Their relationship crossed a dangerous line when Lucas was transferred to a minimum security facility just 20 miles from Meredith's home. Using her influence, Meredith managed to arrange private, unsanctioned meetings with him. Their affair was a risky game, but the thrill of it made Meredith feel alive in a way she hadn't in years. She was careful, meticulous, and always one step ahead. Or so she thought. One fateful night, Lucas escaped from the facility. The news spread like wildfire, and Meredith was paralyzed with fear. Hours later, Lucas appeared at her back door, disheveled and desperate. He begged her for help, claiming his life was in danger. Against all logic, Meredith let him in. For weeks, she harbored him in her home, hiding him from her daughter and the authorities. But Lucas's presence became a ticking time bomb. His reckless nature clashed with Meredith's need for control, and their once passionate relationship turned volatile. The breaking point came during a heated argument. Lucas threatened to expose their affair if Meredith didn't help him flee the country. In a moment of blind panic, Meredith struck him with a heavy brass candlestick. Lucas fell, hitting his head on the corner of a table. He was dead. Overcome with guilt and terror, Meredith knew she had to act quickly. Under the cover of darkness, she buried Lucas's body in her backyard beneath the magnolia tree she had planted years ago. The irony wasn't lost on her. The tree had been a symbol of hope and renewal. Now it was a grave marker for her darkest secret. For years, Meredith lived with the weight of her crime, convincing herself that she had no choice. Life went on, and she became adept at maintaining her facade. Her daughter Emma graduated high school and went off to college. Meredith's career flourished, and she was even considered for a federal judgeship. But the past has a way of resurfacing, and Meredith's carefully constructed world began to crumble when Emma returned home one summer with a surprising guest, her fiancé, Nate. Nate was charming, polite, and, to Meredith's horror, Lucas Kane's younger brother. Though Nate didn't recognize her, Meredith was shaken to her core. He had Lucas's same piercing blue eyes and crooked smile. As the weeks went by, Meredith's anxiety grew. Nate's presence was a constant reminder of her crime, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he knew more than he let on. The situation took a chilling turn when Nate began asking questions about the magnolia tree. He mentioned Lucas's disappearance in passing, commenting on how his family had never found closure. Meredith's paranoia spiraled out of control. She started noticing small things. The way Nate lingered near the backyard, the way he seemed to study her when she thought no one was watching. She convinced herself that Nate was onto her, that he had come to expose her and avenge his brother. Desperate to protect herself, Meredith hired a private investigator, Frank Darnell, to dig into Nate's past. Frank was a grizzled veteran with a knack for uncovering secrets, and his findings only added to Meredith's unease. Nate had a history of run-ins with the law, including a brief stint in jail for assault. He had also been visiting Lucas in prison regularly before his escape. Was Nate simply trying to protect Emma, or was he plotting something more sinister? Meanwhile, Emma's best friend, Carly, became a crucial player in the unfolding drama. Carly, a psychology major with a keen eye for behavior, began noticing changes in both Meredith and Nate. She confided her concerns to Emma, who dismissed them at first but couldn't entirely shake the feeling that something was wrong. Carly took it upon herself to investigate, unearthing old newspaper articles about Lucas's trial and disappearance. The tension reached a boiling point at Emma and Nate's engagement party hosted at Meredith's home. As guests mingled in the backyard, Nate made a toast, thanking Meredith for her hospitality and subtly alluding to the magnolia tree. His words sent a shiver down her spine. Later that night, Meredith confronted Nate, accusing him of trying to blackmail her. Nate denied it, but his cryptic smile only fueled her suspicions. Things took an even darker turn when Frank Darnell was found dead in his office, an apparent suicide. But Meredith wasn't convinced. She'd confided in Frank about her fears, and now he was gone. Was Nate responsible? Or was Meredith's guilt driving her to see threats where there were none? Adding to the chaos, a new character emerged, Detective Laura Chen, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving cold cases. Laura had been looking into Lucas's disappearance as a personal project, and the engagement party gave her the opportunity to observe Meredith, Nate, and Emma up close. Laura's sharp instincts led her to question the seemingly perfect Hawkins family dynamic, setting her on a collision course with the truth. The final twist came when Emma stumbled upon an old photo of Lucas and Meredith among her mother's belongings. The discovery shattered her perception of Meredith and set off a chain of events that forced the truth to the surface. Emma confronted her mother, demanding answers. Cornered, Meredith confessed everything, from her affair with Lucas to the night she killed him and buried his body. But the story didn't end there. Nate revealed that he had known about Meredith's involvement all along. He had orchestrated his relationship with Emma to get close to Meredith, to make her squirm and suffer for what she'd done. But what Nate hadn't anticipated was Emma's reaction. Devastated by the betrayal from both her mother and her fiancé, Emma turned them both over to the authorities. Meanwhile, Carly's independent investigation revealed a deeper conspiracy. It turned out that Lucas had been working with a corrupt prison guard who had helped him escape. That same guard had been blackmailing Meredith for years, threatening to expose her relationship with Lucas if she didn't pay him off. When the guard learned of Lucas' death, he had shifted his focus to Nate, hoping to extract money from him as well. Carly shared her findings with Detective Chen, who used the information to unravel the web of lies surrounding the case. The fallout was catastrophic. Meredith was arrested and charged with manslaughter and obstruction of justice. Her career and reputation were destroyed. Nate's role in the scheme was exposed, and he faced charges of fraud and conspiracy. The corrupt prison guard was also arrested, his years of illegal activities finally catching up to him. Emma, caught in the crossfire, struggled to rebuild her life, grappling with the weight of her family's secrets. As Meredith sat in her prison cell, she couldn't help but reflect on the choices that had led her there. The magnolia tree in her backyard still stood, its roots entwined with the past she had tried so hard to bury. In the end, the truth had found a way to the surface, as it always does. Ooh, what a case, guys. Can you believe all the layers to this one? A respected judge hiding a body in her backyard, a secret affair, blackmail, betrayal, and even family ties twisted in the most unexpected ways. Honestly, this story feels like it's straight out of a thriller novel, but it's a chilling reminder of how far people will go to protect their secrets. What do you guys think? Was Meredith's fate deserved? Or do you think she was a victim of her own bad decisions? Let me know in the comments, because this one definitely left me speechless. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. The names, the details, and the sentences of this case are not real. These made-up scenarios allow us to explore suspenseful situations without exploiting real-life tragedies. Our goal is to create thought-provoking mysteries while respecting the privacy and dignity of real people. Thank you for watching, and let us know your thoughts below.